Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Life ain't easy. Oh, you thought it was supposed to be smooth sailing? Nah, life is full of obstacles, full of moments where you feel like giving up. But let me remind you of something. The only thing that can truly stop you is you. See, people out here making excuses, blaming the economy, blaming their past, blaming their mama, their daddy, their boss, everybody except the person in the mirror. But let me tell you something, when you get your mind right, when you decide that failure is not an option, when you lock in on your dream like your life depends on it, ain't nothing that can stop you. Your mindset determines your success. It's not your background, not your circumstances, not even your talent. Your mindset is the foundation of everything you will accomplish. You can have all the skills in the world, but if your mind is weak, you will sabotage your own success before you ever reach it. The difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't just opportunity, it's the way they think. It's the way they respond to challenges, the way they handle setbacks, and the way they refuse to let obstacles define them. People love to talk about luck. They love to point at successful people and say, oh, they were just in the right place at the right time, or they had connections. But let me tell you something. Plenty of people have been in the right place at the right time and still blew it. Plenty of people had the right connections and still messed up. Because if your mind ain't right, it doesn't matter what doors open for you. You won't walk through them with confidence. You won't take advantage of the opportunity. You'll find a way to doubt yourself, to procrastinate, to hesitate, and before you know it, that opportunity is gone. A strong mindset means you don't make excuses. You don't sit around feeling sorry for yourself, waiting for someone to come and save you. You get up and figure it out. No matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through, no matter what's stacked against you, the right mindset allows you to rise above your circumstances. Because the truth is, somebody with less talent than you, fewer resources than you, and more obstacles than you is still out there winning simply because they refuse to quit. They refuse to accept failure as final. They refuse to let fear control them. You have to train your mind to be strong, just like a muscle. If you don't work on it daily, it will stay weak. It will give in every time life gets hard, and life will get hard. There will be days when you feel like nothing is working, days when you question everything, days when you feel like you're wasting your time. That's where mindset separates the successful from the people who give up too soon. When your mind is strong, you push through those moments. You remind yourself why you started. You stay locked in on your goals, no matter how long it takes. Your mind is your greatest asset, but it can also be your biggest enemy if you let doubt and fear take over. Every time you tell yourself you can't do something, you are training your brain to believe it. Every time you talk yourself out of taking a risk, you are reinforcing hesitation. But every time you push past fear, every time you tell yourself, I got this, every time you refuse to quit, you are programming your mind for success. It all starts with how you see yourself. If you see yourself as capable, as worthy, as deserving of success, you will move differently. You will attract opportunities. You will walk into rooms with confidence. But if you see yourself as less than, as not good enough, as someone who always loses, you will find ways to prove yourself right. The mind is powerful. It will always find a way to make your thoughts a reality. This is why successful people talk about vision so much. If you can see it in your mind first, you can bring it to life. If you believe without a doubt that you are meant for more, you will take action that aligns with that belief. You won't waste time doubting yourself. You won't be afraid to fail. You will know that every mistake, every setback, and every closed door is just another step in your journey. A weak mindset folds under pressure. A strong mindset keeps going no matter what. The choice is yours. Stop making excuses. Own your journey. Too many people spend their lives blaming everything and everyone around them for why they're not where they want to be. They blame their parents, their childhood, their environment, their job, their boss, the economy, everything except themselves. But the truth is, as long as you keep making excuses, you will stay exactly where you are. They give you a way out, a reason not to push harder, a justification for why you haven't taken action. The problem with excuses is that they sound good, they feel real, they make you believe that your situation is different, that your struggles are bigger than what others have faced. But everybody has a story. Everybody has been through something. Some of the most successful people in the world came from the worst situations imaginable. Poverty, abuse, abandonment, failure after failure. But they made a decision. They decided that no matter where they came from, they weren't going to let it define them. They took ownership of their lives and did whatever it took to change their situation. Owning your journey means accepting full responsibility for where you are right now. It means no more blaming, no more waiting, no more expecting someone else to come save you. It's realizing that your life is 100% in your hands. Yes, unfair things may have happened to you. Yes, you may have had struggles that others didn't. But what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let it be your excuse, or are you going to use it as fuel? Are you going to sit around complaining, or are you going to get up and make something happen? People don't like to hear this because it forces them to confront themselves. It forces them to admit that they've been holding themselves back. It's easier to say, I would be successful if I had more money, or I could do it if I had the right connections. But the reality is, there are people with less than you who are out there winning. There are people who had every reason to quit, every excuse to stay down, but they didn't. They took the little they had and made it work. They didn't wait for the perfect moment, they just started. Taking ownership means understanding that your excuses are just stories you tell yourself to stay comfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. Success requires sacrifice. It requires doing things you don't feel like doing, stepping into situations that scare you, putting in the work when nobody is watching. But if you keep waiting for the conditions to be perfect, you'll be waiting forever. The truth is, there will never be a perfect time. There will always be something in your way, always a reason to delay, always an excuse ready to be used. But when you stop giving yourself that option, that's when things change. People who own their journey don't make excuses, they make adjustments. They don't sit around talking about what they can't do, they figure out what they can do. They don't dwell on what went wrong, they learn from it and move forward. They understand that success is about taking responsibility, not waiting for a handout. They focus on solutions, not problems. And most importantly, they never allow themselves to be victims of their circumstances. Everything in your life is a result of the choices you've made. And if you don't like where you are, it's time to make different choices. It's time to stop pointing fingers and start making moves. Because the moment you decide to own your journey, to stop making excuses and start taking action, that's the moment your life starts to change. Failure is part of the process. Keep pushing. Too many people let failure define them, instead of using it as a stepping stone. The moment they fail, they start believing they aren't good enough, that maybe success just isn't meant for them. But failure isn't a stop sign. It's not the end of the road. It's a test. It's life asking you, how bad do you really want this? Every successful person you admire has failed. And not just once, but over and over again. The difference is they didn't quit. They didn't let failure stop them. They understood that every mistake, every setback, and every loss was teaching them something. Because that's what failure really is. It's feedback. It's a lesson. It's a way to refine your approach and get better. But most people don't see it that way. They take it personally. They think failing means they're not capable, when in reality, failing means they're in the process of learning. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall down 100 times before they ever take their first step. But they don't quit. They don't sit there and say, well, I guess walking isn't for me. No, they keep trying, because falling is just part of the process. And that never changes. Whether you're learning a new skill, starting a business, chasing a dream, failing is part of the journey. The problem is, as we get older, we start getting embarrassed by failure. We start worrying about what other people will think. We start doubting ourselves instead of realizing that failure is just a sign that we're moving forward. The people who succeed are the ones who keep going even when it gets tough. They don't let one failure shake their confidence. They don't let one bad day make them give up on their dream. They know that the only way to truly fail is to stop trying, because as long as you're still in the game, you still have a chance to win. Most people give up too soon. They hit a rough patch, and instead of pushing through, they throw in the towel. They don't realize how close they were to breaking through. They don't realize that one more attempt, one more adjustment, one more step could have been the difference between success and giving up. That's why persistence is so powerful. The people who keep pushing, who refuse to let failure shake them, those are the ones who make it. You have to shift your mindset around failure. Instead of fearing it, embrace it. Instead of running from it, learn from it. Because every failure is preparing you for your next level. Every setback is shaping you into the person you need to become. If you look at the stories of the most successful people, you'll see that failure wasn't the end for them. It was the beginning. It was the moment they realized what needed to change. It was the lesson that made them stronger, sharper, and more determined. The truth is, failure isn't the problem. The problem is how you respond to it. If you let it break you, you'll never reach your full potential. But if you let it teach you, if you let it fuel you, if you use it as motivation to come back stronger, there is nothing you can't overcome. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. It's proof that you're in motion, that you're taking action, that you're putting yourself in a position to grow. The only people who never fail are the ones who never try. Stay hungry. Act like the blessing is already yours. The difference between people who succeed and those who don't isn't just talent, luck, or connections. It's hunger. It's that relentless drive, that deep, unshakable belief that what you're chasing is already yours, and you just have to go claim it. When you move with that kind of confidence, doors open. When you carry yourself like you already have the blessing, opportunities find you. Hunger is what keeps you going when things get tough. It's what makes you get up early, stay up late, and put in the work when nobody is watching. It's what separates the people who dream from the people who do. A hungry person doesn't wait for things to happen. They make things happen. They don't wait for permission, for the perfect time, or for somebody to validate them. They step into their purpose like it's already done, like success isn't a possibility but a guarantee. The problem is most people lose their hunger. They start out excited, ready to take on the world, but the moment things get hard, they slow down. They get comfortable. They let fear creep in. They start doubting themselves. That's why you have to stay hungry, because the moment you stop chasing your goals like your life depends on it, you start settling. The moment you start thinking small, you start shrinking. You have to train yourself to wake up every day like you have something to prove, like you're still that person fighting for your breakthrough. Even when you start seeing success, even when things start going your way, you can't afford to get comfortable. The moment you stop pushing is the moment you start slipping. Hunger isn't just for the beginning of your journey, it's for every step of the way. Some people lose their hunger because they let doubt get in their head. They start thinking about all the reasons it won't work instead of focusing on making it work. They start worrying about failing, about looking foolish, about what people will say. But when you're truly hungry, none of that matters. You don't have time to worry about opinions because you're too busy moving forward. You don't have time to entertain negativity because you're locked in on your goal. Acting like the blessing is already yours doesn't mean being arrogant. It means walking in faith. It means showing up every day like success is inevitable. It means speaking with confidence, moving with purpose, and putting in the kind of effort that says, I know I'm going to win. Because when you believe something deeply enough, your actions start to align with that belief. You start making choices that move you closer to your goal. You start taking risks you would have been too afraid to take. You start carrying yourself like somebody who belongs in the room, like somebody who deserves the opportunity. People can feel that kind of energy. When you believe in yourself, others start believing in you too. When you move with purpose, people take notice. When you walk into a room with confidence, opportunities start to show up. That's why mindset is so important. If you walk around unsure, hesitant, and waiting for permission, people will treat you like you don't belong. But when you show up like you already have the blessing, like you already have the success, people start responding to you differently. You can't afford to be passive about your dreams. You can't afford to wait for the right moment or the perfect conditions. You have to go after it like it's already yours, like you're just putting in the work to bring it to life. Hunger is what keeps you going when things get hard, when doors close, when people doubt you. Hunger is what makes you get back up every time you fall. Hunger is what separates those who almost make it from those who do. Obstacles can't stop a determined mind. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and roadblocks that will try to keep you from reaching your goals. No matter how talented you are, no matter how much potential you have, you will face resistance. That's just the way life works. But the people who succeed are not the ones who never face obstacles. They are the ones who refuse to let those obstacles stop them. A determined mind finds a way through, around, over, or under anything that stands in the way. Most people give up at the first sign of struggle. They hit a rough patch, and instead of fighting through, they convince themselves it's not meant to be. They start making excuses, telling themselves it's too hard, that they don't have the resources, that the timing isn't right. But the truth is, if you let an obstacle stop you, it's not the obstacle that's the problem. It's your mindset. A determined mind doesn't see roadblocks as the end of the road. It sees them as challenges to overcome, as opportunities to grow, as tests of how badly you really want it. Think about the most successful people in the world. None of them got there without facing obstacles. They dealt with rejection, with failure, with setbacks. That would have made most people quit, but they kept going. They adjusted. They found another way. They didn't sit around complaining about how unfair life was. They focused on what they could control. Because when you are truly determined, nothing can shake you. A determined mind doesn't waste time on self-pity. It doesn't sit around waiting for the perfect conditions. It doesn't focus on what's missing or what's wrong. It focuses on solutions. It finds a way. It keeps moving forward no matter how difficult things get. Because success is never about how easy the path is. It's about how committed you are to reaching the destination. Obstacles are part of the journey. They are not there to stop you. They are there to strengthen you. Every time you overcome a challenge, you become better, wiser, and more prepared for what's next. Every time you push through, you build resilience. You develop the mindset of someone who can handle anything life throws at them. Because if you can't handle the small obstacles, how are you going to handle the bigger ones that come with success? Most people don't fail because they lack talent or opportunity. They fail because they lack persistence. They quit too soon. They give up when things get uncomfortable. But a determined mind keeps going. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter how many times it falls. It doesn't matter how many people doubt it. A determined mind stays locked in on the goal no matter how many obstacles appear along the way. When you develop that kind of mindset, nothing can hold you back. No setback, no rejection, no failure can break you. Because you know that every challenge is temporary. You know that every difficulty is just another step on the journey. You know that as long as you don't stop, you will get there. The real test is not whether you face obstacles, it's how you respond to them. Are you going to let them define you, or are you going to rise above them? Are you going to let them discourage you, or are you going to let them fuel you? Are you going to make excuses, or are you going to find a way? A determined mind doesn't wait for things to be easy. It fights through the hard moments. It embraces the struggle. It refuses to back down. Because at the end of the day, success is not about avoiding obstacles. It's about proving that nothing can stop you. Surround yourself with the right people. The company you keep will either push you forward or hold you back. The people around you influence your mindset, your habits, and your belief in what's possible. If you're constantly around negativity, doubt, and small thinking, it will be nearly impossible to grow into the person you're meant to be. But if you surround yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and push you to be better, you will elevate your life in ways you never imagined. Energy is contagious. If you spend time around people who complain, make excuses, and never take action, that energy will rub off on you. You will start seeing the world through their lens. You will start second-guessing yourself, holding back and settling for less than you deserve. But when you're around people who are driven, who are constantly striving for more, who refuse to accept mediocrity, you will start moving differently. You will start believing in yourself at a higher level. You will start adopting their habits, their mindset, and their level of ambition. One of the biggest reasons people never reach their potential is because they're too afraid to outgrow their current circle. They don't want to leave people behind. They don't want to be judged for changing. But growth requires separation. You cannot elevate your life while staying connected to people who are comfortable being average. You have to be willing to distance yourself from anyone who is not aligned with your vision. That doesn't mean you stop caring about them, but it does mean you stop allowing their influence to dictate your future. Successful people understand the power of proximity. They know that if they want to be great, they have to be around greatness. They seek out mentors. They put themselves in rooms where people are doing big things, and they learn from those who have already walked the path. They don't waste time arguing with people who don't see their vision. They don't try to convince small-minded people to believe in their dreams. They focus on surrounding themselves with individuals who elevate their thinking and push them to new levels. The people in your life should be adding value, not draining it. They should be supporting your goals, not tearing them down. They should be motivating you to go harder, not giving you reasons to slow down. Pay attention to the conversations you have on a daily basis. Are they filled with ideas, growth, and inspiration? Or are they filled with gossip, complaining, and excuses? The quality of your conversations reflects the quality of your mindset. If you want to think bigger, dream bigger, and achieve more, you need to be around people who operate at that level. There will always be people who try to hold you back. Some of them won't even do it intentionally. They will project their own fears, their own doubts, and their own limitations onto you. They will tell you to play it safe, to lower your expectations, to be realistic, not because they don't care about you, but because they don't believe it's possible for themselves. And if they don't believe it's possible for them, they won't believe it's possible for you. That's why you have to be careful who you listen to. You have to be intentional about whose opinions you value. Not everyone deserves a say in your future. Find people who inspire you. Find people who make you want to work harder, who challenge your thinking, who push you to be your best self. Find people who believe in you even when you doubt yourself, because the right people will remind you of your greatness. They will call you out when you start making excuses. They will encourage you when things get tough. And most importantly, they will walk with you on the journey, not just cheer from the sideline. Your environment shapes your success. Your circle shapes your mindset. And if you truly want to reach the highest levels, you have to be surrounded by people who push you to be great. The right circle will challenge you, stretch you, and hold you accountable to your potential. They will remind you of who you are, what you're capable of, and why you can't afford to settle. Because when you have the right people in your corner, success is no longer just a possibility, it's inevitable.